Oh, sorry, I still have my mic set to the Death Trooper mode. There we go. Anyways, what I was saying was, what's up guys? Causeway Giant here, and welcome back to another Star Wars Legacy, the not-so-weekly series where I delve into the backstories of Star Wars characters, because I've got nothing better to do. In the last video, we explored Bosk's origin story, or Bosk, or Boosk, or however you pronounce it. Funny. One of my favourite characters, and I don't even know how to pronounce his name. But seriously, why are there loads of names that are so hard to say in Star Wars? Like, is it Nien Num or Nine Num? You just sound like a German saying that, though. But anyway, today we're going to be tackling someone with a slightly easier name, Director Orson Krennic. See guys, I've officially gone Rogue One mad, and I thought Krennic was such a cool and different character in the movie, so I thought, hey, what the heck, do a thing on him. It's not like you actually have friends to socialise with. So grab your cape and deploy the garrison, because it's Legacizing time. So Ben Mendelsohn, Orson Krennic, you were taken from us too soon, you cape-wearing legend, a human male from the planet Lexril. His career began by being enrolled in the Republic Futures program on Brentol, where he met his lifelong frenemy Galen Erso. After graduating to the Republic Corps of Engineers, he was tasked with overseeing construction projects. He used his newfound authority to grant Galen a professorship at the Institute of Applied Science. He began to study the heavy weapons constructed on planets like Kuat for the Republic, and developed a fascination with them. This led him to become intrigued after learning that plans for a massive planet-destroying space station called the Death Star had been discovered by the Republic in the Battle of Geonosis. So Krennic joined the Death Star project, and construction began, but was halted when problems with the labor force and the construction of the super laser. Super lasers don't just grow on trees. So Krennic met with Mas Amida, the vice chair of the Senate, to propose that the Republic use the work of his former colleague Galen Erso. Amida agreed, and Krennic mounted a rescue mission to free Erso from separatist imprisonment on Vult. With the help of a smuggler called Has Obbit, Krennic rescued Galen along with his wife Lyra and daughter Jin by ransoming off two captured separatist scientists and destroying the facility, much to the pacifist Galen's distaste. When Krennic requested Galen for his assistance in the Death Star's construction, Galen decided to remain neutral. Following this, Krennic met with the Geonosian Archduke Poggle the Lesser, who was a captive of the Republic. Using his knowledge over the Geonosian construction facilities, Krennic persuaded the imprisoned separatists to assist in the construction of the moon-sized battle station. Galen was then accused of siding with the separatists due to him not contributing to the Republic's war efforts since his imprisonment on Vult, much to Krennic's approval. With Poggle back on Geonosis, the highest progress on the Death Star's construction was increased substantially, and the Death Star had evolved from a mere ring into a spherical shape. Krennic made an offer to Galen that his charges be dropped from him in an attempt to persuade him to join the Death Star's cause. However, these attempts at reasoning were postponed when Krennic was informed that Poggle had begun a Geonosian rebellion, causing them to destroy their 3-month work and having Poggle return to Count Dooku. This was a massive blow in Krennic's reputation. It's like I always said, never trust a bug, especially one that has literally been one of the leaders of the enemy in the war that you've been fighting in for years. Come on Krennic, rookie mistake. Anyway, shortly after Poggle's betrayal, the Clone Wars ended and the Galactic Republic became the Galactic Empire. Bad timing there, Poggle. Krennic once again met with Galen Erso on Kanzi and learned that Galen had acquired a permanent job as an administrator on Lo Kori. He once again offered Galen a position on the Death Star project, which was now named Project Celestial Power, because it doesn't sound quite as bad as the freaking Death Star, and assured him that it would bring power to planets ravaged by the Clone Wars. Galen finally accepted and was relocated to a facility on Coruscant. He began to research kyber crystals, mystical objects that were used to power the Jedi's lightsabers. Meanwhile, Wilhuff Tarkin, a rival of Krennic of whom he despises, met with Krennic. Krennic informed him of the destructive power that the Death Star would offer the Empire and proposed potential planets that they could use to mine resources for the colossal space station. Tarkin took interest in the project and gave Krennic the authority to follow through with his plans. He once again requested the services of the smuggler Has Obbit to help achieve Imperial control over mining facilities. Shortly after this, Galen's wife became aware of the Empire's true intentions for the battle station and told Galen. Krennic witnessed this on surveillance recordings and grew wary of Lyra. In an attempt to finally weaponize Galen's research, the facility on Malpaz exploded, which caused countless deaths as well as planet-wide damage. Krennic disguised the incident as an attack on the Imperial facility so as not to compromise his work. You sly fox, Krennic. Following this, Krennic persuaded Mas Amida to promote him to the prestigious rank of Rear Admiral, though he was actually only promoted to full commander. During another meeting with the Ersos, Lyra questioned Krennic about his involvement in the Malpaz disaster, though he waved her claims away and proposed that she should go exploring and have a break from parenting. He was then able to talk to Galen in private. When Galen told Krennic of his and Lyra's doubts on the project, Krennic showed Galen the ruined remains of Malpaz and said that this was the work of people who wanted to bring instability to the galaxy. Not entirely true, but whatever. Galen was upset that his work had been soiled by people who were solely intent on ruining people's lives, and Krennic knew that he had won Galen back from Lyra. Therefore, Galen began to keep his work a secret, even from Lyra. It was then when Krennic's go-to smuggler Has Obbit expressed his anger in what he had done, and staged a rebellion with Clone Wars veteran Saw Gerrera. Krennic seized the opportunity by understanding that Tarkin would be forced to quell the rebellion, as not doing so would make the Empire look weak, so he engaged in the battle, allowing Krennic to continue his work without Tarkin peering over his shoulder. During this battle, Galen's work advanced to a great extent, and a prototype super laser was developed. Krennic tested it from on board a Star Destroyer and targeted 2 black holes to avoid another Malpaz incident. The weapon was a success, though shortly after, Lyra returned. Krennic warned her not to disrupt Galen's work and told her that doing this would cause massive trouble to their family. Due to his obsession with his work, Galen had only now realized that he had completely neglected his young daughter Jyn. Lyra revealed to Galen that they had been under surveillance the entire time and told him of Krennic's threat aimed at their family. Following this, Lyra researched more into the Malpaz disaster and discovered that the incident was actually at the fault of the Empire and not terrorists like Krennic had told Galen. They arranged a meeting with Krennic and raised questions over their recent findings. Krennic felt threatened and left, and began arranging ways to remove Jyn and Lyra from Galen's life. Tarkin told Krennic that Has Obbit was on Coruscant, and Krennic believed that he would try to take revenge by seizing the Urso family. However, upon arrival, Krennic realized that this was not the case, and instead the Ursos had escaped Krennic's grasp thanks to the help of Saw Gerrera. He was then demoted to Lieutenant Commander rank, much to the approval of Tarkin, and began a search for the Urso family. That leads us into the events of the movie, where years later Krennic finds Galen and his family living a farming life on Lamu. Galen informed Krennic that Lyra had died, though moments later she appeared from the grass. Krennic ordered his Death Troopers to kill Lyra, though she injured Krennic with a blaster shot to the shoulder in the process. Galen once again agreed to resume his work, and 15 years later the Death Star was complete. Krennic arranged a meeting with Tarkin to test the station on Jedha City, a site of kyber crystal mining which had become the fuel for the super laser. It ravaged a large chunk of the planet, annihilating Saw Gerrera and his band of rebels in the process. Tarkin was impressed and announced that he was going to be taking control of the station due to Krennic's incompetence, as a pilot had defected from Galen Erso's facility on Edu, much to the anger of Krennic. And rightly so, like Krennic has spent his entire life making the Death Star, only for Tarkin to take it just when it's done. What a snake. He met at Transylvador on Mustafar to show his defiance at Tarkin, though Vader showed the director that he should know his place and not underestimate the power of the dark side and all that jazz. Krennic then travelled to Edu to discover which of Galen's scientists was defying the Empire. Galen told Krennic that it was he who was responsible, though Krennic ordered his Death Troopers to kill the scientists anyway, because you know, the Empire are bad guys. Shortly after, the base was attacked by X-Wings. Krennic escaped, though Galen was killed by the bombs. Krennic then realized that the Death Star plans on Scarif could be susceptible to attack, so he arrived and demanded access to all of Galen Erso's communications. Suddenly, he noticed explosions in different areas of the base. Krennic couldn't believe their naivety and deployed the garrison. He knew that the base was being attacked by a band of rebels, so he took it upon himself to ensure the security of the Death Star plans and traveled to the data vault where they were being held. He arrived just in time to see them being stolen by rebel captain Cassian Andor and the daughter of his dead colleague Jyn Erso. After Cassian killed Krennic's Death Troopers, Krennic shot Cassian, though Jyn managed to escape. Krennic followed her to the communications tower where he was just about to kill Jyn when Cassian appeared from behind and shot Krennic, immobilizing him. The plans were then transmitted to Admiral Raddus, who was leading the rebel fleet combating the Empire in orbit. Krennic looked up, only to see the Death Star appear over the horizon. He could only watch as the weapon he had spent so many years developing fired at the base, destroying him and anyone else present on the surface battle of Scarif. Such a poetic end, but Krennic, I'll always love you. I mean, what? Well, anyway guys, there you have it, the tragic story of Orson Krennic. I hope you enjoyed the video, and let me know if you have any other characters you want me to legicize, which somehow is still not a word. Next I'm thinking of doing a segment on the Hutts, so stay tuned for that, but until next time, live long and prosper, and may the Force be with you. Bye!